today's video, I'll be talking about points to take note of when interviewing in Japan. So first is your alien registration certificate. You have to wear a suit, like here in this photo. Around 50%, depending on how neat and clean you look. Hey everyone, this is Cam from Swimmy channel. So for today's video, I'll be talking about points to take note of when interviewing in Japan. This is especially important if you want to work here in Japan. If you want to know more about interview tips, do's and don'ts while watching the video, just ask away and leave a comment below. Also, if you don't know how to write your resume for the interview, you can watch this video. Alright, so let me explain the points to keep in mind when taking an interview in Japan. Have you ever had an interview in Japan? Admittedly, in my case, most of my interviews in Japan were not too serious or difficult since most of the jobs I've applied for are only for part-time jobs. But for those interviews, I still needed to submit my resume in Japanese, and I had to take my interviews in Japanese. I would research online about things to do and not to do in an interview, and I would also ask advice from my friends. Sigurado ko hindi 100% perfect yung mga interviews ko, but thankfully the people who interviewed me were very understanding, lalo na dahil foreigner ako. But even if people are understanding, I know I have to do my best to follow interview rules and protocol in Japan. Here are the things you need to bring with you when you have an interview in Japan. These items are necessary for identity verification. So first is your alien registration certificate. Second is your passport. Third is your residence card. Fourth is your work qualification certificate. And the fifth is your resume and the results of your Japanese language proficiency test. You definitely need to bring these items. In case you don't know how to write a resume, you can always check out our How to Write a Resume video. Aside from things to bring, we need to talk about attire for interviews. If you're applying to be a regular employee or a contract employee, you have to wear a suit, like here in this photo. So make sure your suit is of the right size, not too big, not too small. And a dark colored suit is always highly recommended, navy or dark colored. You don't need to wear a suit if you're applying for a part-time job, but of course, you still have to wear decent clothes. It's important to be mindful of your appearance when you have an interview. So let's aim for a clean and neat appearance. Your hair should be like this, tied up, your face is clear, clearly seen. Always remember to put on a smile. For women, always try to achieve a naturally looking makeup. And for men, try to be cleanly shaved with no beard. Also, your hands are also important. Make sure they're clean and your nails are cut. Also, for your shoes, make sure they're comfortable, dark colored, and closed-toed. Same goes for boys. Your appearance can change your acceptance rate by around 50% depending on how neat and clean you look. So let's aim for a clean and neat appearance. As much as possible, please avoid wearing hats and accessories as well. Of course, aside from appearance, we need to know how to answer during an interview. Some points to take note of when giving your answers. First is to answer clearly. Second, don't keep saying that I do this or that it's okay. Third, if there is something you don't understand, politely ask again and listen properly. And fourth is to answer with a smile. Also, another important thing to note when it comes to answering questions. I heard from some interviewers that they're aware there can be language barriers or difficult explanations during interviews. They know there might be some things about the job that the interviewee might not fully understand. To be honest, interviewers actually want interviewees to know that it's okay to ask as many times as you need to. It's better for them that you ask several times until you fully understand the job. For example, they say the job requires you to use kanji often. Is that okay? Sometimes the interviewee doesn't understand that, or the interview will just say daijoubu or it's okay, when in reality it's not really okay. Someone who says daijoubu to questions or says okay or it's okay all the time might appear to be pretending to understand when in fact they don't understand everything. Maybe at some point in the interview, you say using kanji is totally okay for you, but when you get hired, you can't actually write it. Sometimes these kinds of situations happen. If there's something you don't understand, don't just say daijoubu or it's okay so easily. Employers are more receptive if you admit that there's something you don't know or understand. When you say things like, "I'm not sure, kindly repeat that again, please?" Or, "I'm not so good at kanji, but I'll make sure to learn and remember." When you say these things, they are more likely to be interested in hiring you. How you answer is very important. Show that you are a person who can learn and earn the job properly by answering the interviewer honestly and clearly. Finally, here's one last tip for your interview. Interviewers usually ask, "How long have you been in Japan?" Right? So what do you usually answer? Actually, this question is kind of important as it's one way that's used to check your Japanese level. So for example, it's now May 2020 and you arrived in Japan in November 2019, so around 5 to 6 months ago. If you answer simply by saying "rokugatsu desu," then the interviewer will think, this person is probably N4 to N5 level. If you answer "rokugetsu mae desu," then you're probably a little higher, like N4 to N3. If you answer something like "2019年11月に来ました," then you would be like maybe higher, like N1 to N2. It seems for interviewers there's a big difference in Japanese level depending on your answer to this question. But of course, don't overstretch yourself. Don't push yourself beyond your limit if you're not really at N1 or N2 level yet. I just shared this with you since it might give you an advantage when you have your interview. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure how accurate this kind of evaluation is, if it can really figure out your JLPT level. But the point is, it's important to know how to answer properly. If I may also just suggest, try and practice your answers with someone you know who has experience in interviews and can give you advice. If you're shy to ask for help, remember it's better to try and make mistakes with someone else rather than with your interviewer. Like always, Swimmy channel will continue to provide useful information for living in Japan, so please check out the other videos. I like this video, I want to see more, I want to support you. If you have these kinds of thoughts, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, see you in the next video.